Welcome, everyone, to From the Ground Up Friday edition.
Ooh.
What's your face like?
I don't know. You just sounded so serious. I wasn't expecting. Usually it's like, wow, it's so loud.
Oh, see, we messed up and left some things on. Well, sorry, I'm talking accelerated.
Yeah.
I kind of want to start it over for the audio.
Do it.
Everyone, welcome to From the Ground Up Friday edition. Today we're going to talk about vending our first reptile show, and I think we might as well give and take this opportunity to talk about the fact that people who listen to this on download all the time probably don't know that we do it live on YouTube, or they're like, hey, it's live, and don't know exactly when because we don't announce the times anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say we usually do it on Mondays or Tuesdays at 7 p.m. We're going to do better probably at the day of explaining what day it's going to be on. Today
next week
is
going to be Tuesday.
It's probably going to be Tuesday at 7
sorry,
p.m.
Darren Watson, because he works and it's hard for him to watch. But yes.
Hopefully you can listen on down.
Most of the time Mondays, but sometimes just with our guests and things.
Things pop up and we need maybe we should start announcing our guests again.
No.
But for some reason, guests back out when we announce them.
No, it's just the curse. So just you don't have to announce the guest. You can just announce the time. Just the day every morning. We talked about this every morning. Making a.
Well, can I give like a little teaser, and then if it goes wrong, then like.
No.
Okay.
Because every time we do it,
the show's gonna be hot.
Wow. Okay.
And if he backs out just from that statement, then I mean, we gotta go.
Then you're ridiculous, and I hate you. That's how but wow, I'm so shocked we have 11 people even watching. I thought this would just be like an empty show because it's just
a Friday night. Like who on a Friday night at 5:30?
Well, it's not night yet, but I thought this would just be us hanging out. We just wanted to do this because we recently vended our first show, and we thought we have some stuff to say about it, and we have a lot of people who are interested, so we thought we'd just do a little bonus episode, and it's not going to be full 2 hours. Guys, don't expect that. It'll be
but we want to talk about kind of the whole process. So our first show was the Oak Show in Pennsylvania. It is called like the Reptiles East Coast Super Show or something
like
but
that.
It's not that super. It's kind of it was semi super this time around. Last time we went, it wasn't super because it was in a smaller venue and there were give or take 1 million people in there, and there was too many people for the amount of space. But this time it was in a bigger venue,
at least double the size.
Yeah, the aisles were nice and big, so it was nice, and there were a lot of cool vendors. There were a lot of the same iffy vendors, and
unnecessary.
The gambit of what a local-ish reptile show is. But I would say it's a little bit step up than your run-of-the-mill, like in a Knights of Columbus type of or VFW, reptile show is. So it's in a nice venue, and so it was cool. And I guess why don't we just tell everyone everything? So
we'll start from the beginning. So
like when we signed up, even.
Yes, that's what I'm going for. Thank you. Didn't need your help. So we've been thinking for a while, okay, we still have a decent amount of snakes left. Like, how do we want to do this? Do we actually want to do a show? And the timing, we weren't sure because there was obviously Hamburg, which we had no shot of getting in. There's obviously White Plains, which we also thought we had no shot of getting in. So we were like, do we go to the Baltimore shows? I'm just trying to decide where. But despite going to this Oak show a couple months ago and being so horrified, we still
horrified's a little bit of
I was horrified.
Okay.
I was horrified. I was just like, I have no interest in being in this facility for 8 hours vending. But despite that, we just really wanted to vend our first show. So we just went ahead and signed up, and thankfully there wasn't a waiting list or anything we signed up early enough.
We did try to get on the show that we disliked before we even went to hang out there or check it out. So we
were too late on that one.
We were just too late. They didn't have a table, even though there was a guy selling windows. But
I'm happy to not have a table at that one. I was okay with that after we went to it.
Yeah, but it would have been nice to get 2 shows in because we still have a weird amount of animals left, and winter's coming, and I'm not going to ship all December. And I mean, the window is pretty much closed right now
for a while, right?
Yeah, so these winter shows would be nice to hit and just to sell some animals, or else everyone's hanging out with us, which is good because it's not like we have too many animals, so that's always a good thing. But we signed up and it was $75 for a table.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we might as well just tell everything because who cares? I mean, people can figure that out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, this show did not.
Evan said, sorry, I keep thinking about it. Evan just asked if that's your winter beard. And now I just keep staring at your beard. I'm like, I don't know.
It happens like randomly.
Lazy beard. It's more when he doesn't feel like shaving. Also, Evan is the king of totally changing up his looks and stuff. So I feel like he can't.
That's true.
Talk.
Evan has,
he has like 4 different
facial
looks.
hairs combinations, like not even one.
Right.
It's not like just Evan with a beard. It'll be like Evan with a beard braided or something.
Ponytail, just a little bit. It's also different. But totally.
I can't grow facial hair as well as he does.
As Evan obviously can. Joe will never have a ponytail beard. I don't know if I want him to.
I'm going to say probably not.
But I don't think your chin would ever let you do that.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I'm glad.
That's true.
The people are riveted by this whole.
Sorry. That was a personal conversation I should have had with Evan. Back to the show. So thinking about the show, you knew from the start you wanted your display to be different.
Yes. And keep in mind that different isn't always good. And I think there is a status quo, right, for displays at shows. So what you're thinking is acrylic, a black tablecloth, 3-tier display. That's your pretty average. If you're a colubrid guy, you usually look like a fucking sack of shit and just throw deli cups on the table, right? But so that's what I was.
Or leopard geckos a lot of times.
Trying to at least be better than that, and different from an acrylic display.
Also, we did not have the money to purchase the acrylic display either. So it was wanted to be different. Also,
but it's also a pain in the ass with colubrids to mess with the acrylics.
Really? I didn't know that.
So I mean, and some people put you'll see the guys who put 20 corn snakes in acrylic. Because I mean, the acrylic is a perfect size basically for a ball python.
They're so big compared to the size of a corn.
The corns would just be all over the place. I just don't think it's as conducive, as if you had some type of python species. But plus, it's not even an option because we're not going to pay for it. So I saw these things at Tinley, and basically a couple colubrid guys had this board, and I hope you can envision it. Imagine like a cornhole board, kind of, or just basically a board on a 45-degree angle. And then obviously legs propping it up. That's a good crack on my voice. And then all I did was I glued with liquid nails, molding across the board, which made a little ledge for your deli cups to sit on. This is kind of hard to explain. If you want to go see it, you can check it out on our Instagram. And
you know what I think of?
What?
Plinko. You know that game?
Yeah.
On Price is Right? Up. No, I thought it's angled, I thought.
I think you're incorrect. It's
okay,
straight
there's
up.
There's some game, fair game or something.
Okay, well, it's a board on a 45-degree angle, and then put molding on it. And then I decided, how am I going to? Because I want to use these deli cups, and they're from Superior Shipping Supplies, if Breeza's still in here. So thank you, Breeza. And they are the square deli cups. And if you're gonna be an asshole and make everything different, you might as well not even make your deli cups round. So fuck it. I'm going to put square deli cups on it. Plus, they sit better on the molding.
Yeah.
So square deli cups with coffee filters in them is what I use for a lining for them. And then snake in there. And then the board itself, I decided, like, what do I paint it? Obviously, I just got like a regular composite sanded board, glued the molding on, and then spray painted it with chalk paint, which hindsight probably should have used the roller version, but I didn't want to get too in depth. I was kind of going quickly, and I was just trying to get something that worked at that point because we were, I decided.
Despite knowing we were doing this show for many, many weeks, and I
had the idea beforehand.
Right. When did this start getting built?
Yeah, this started getting built like Wednesday.
Before.
So,
yeah.
And the show is now Saturday.
So yeah, it came down to
sometimes you take a couple shortcuts. So
a spray paint chalk, and then it came to how do we put our name on there.
So what I thought about putting our name on there, I was like, oh, let's get some stick-on letters, Theportcitypythons. That would be pretty easy. And we were at Target, and I forgot about that idea.
Biggest brain fart in the world.
And we decided to use these chalk markers. And I mean, that would be okay if we were artistic.
Yeah, if you've ever seen either of our handwritings, it's chicken scratch.
Yeah.
And then he wanted one of us to perfectly write Theportcitypythons so long on this board.
And make it centered and all the letters.
Spacing correctly. Yeah, no. The stick-on letters would have been much better and all that. But I took on that task. And I do say I'm pretty proud of myself, honestly. Like, it didn't look
terrible.
It didn't look great, but it looked better. I mean, it took me 2 hours of rulers and pencils and all that, and so many issues. But and then the chalk markers, no one ever buy those. I did not like those at all.
I think it works if you are like a chalkboard artist and you know what the fuck you're doing. But once again,
think about like Trader Joe's boards, or I don't know what other grocery stores or places have, but lots of like burger places or something will have, their big chalk display and these huge, beautiful pictures. I don't know if they get different kind of
artisanal burgers,
but I feel like their pictures just look so much better. Ours was just, I don't know, it wasn't good. These chalk markers were not good.
No, just. It may have been the paint also. I mean, it wasn't. Once again, every part of the process was not to the point where I wanted it to be. But
it looked a lot better in our heads.
But we got by with what we had. So we did the paint markers, and then the whole thing's chalk. So, hey, we're going to write all the babies, basically what genes are in it. And then, so the males we wrote on with blue chalk. And then the females, obviously, we wrote on with pink chalk.
Which, by the way, I thought would have been super obvious to people.
Like the easiest thing to figure out.
I mean, I would say at least 75% of the people were like, is this a male or a female? I'm like, oh.
But some people would take an extra second to be like, and correct themselves, be like, oh, wait, yeah, it's pink.
Yeah, that's but like, I just thought it would have been so, like, I thought we were helping people out by doing that. But clearly, we needed to have drawn the symbols.
But even if we put the symbols, I feel like people don't know that either.
No, the symbols either.
Because like the same people who don't know the color will be the same that don't know the symbol.
It shouldn't be. It should be everyone knows. Like, I forget the symbol.
We're gonna have to make like the little bathroom outline person for fucking everyone. No, they don't get in
trouble. I feel like. I don't know. I feel like.
Oh, I don't want to assume, but I mean, I try to assume all my snakes' genders before I sell them.
I don't know. I feel like bathroom signs. People have issues. I don't know.
Oh God.
We'll have to have enough space to write female or male.
No, blue and pink. If you don't get it, you don't qualify. That's like a qualifier. You're not qualified to take care of this animal.
If you can't figure that out.
You can ask once or, no, it's fine. But
yeah, also,
why is
another
chalk
idea,
always blunt?
Yes, it was very hard to write pretty with chalk because it's not
teachers,
a pointed.
How do you do this? Why isn't there like a sharpened chalk?
There is, and I should know this because I'm a teacher, but we don't use chalkboards like ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so hard to write nice because
we can write nice anyway.
The space we're writing on was like, how tall would you say? Like 2 inches tall, the space I had to write.
Well,
these
yeah,
things.
because I thought it would be, because we needed to do big letters because it was in chalk. So we couldn't go too small or else it would all get jumbled together because you're using a blunt object to write things. It would be different if we had a pen, then there would be plenty of room, right?
Right.
But you're using a piece of chalk.
And it just also, I'm left-handed, and the curse of being left-handed, I'm just smudging it everywhere. It's rough. If anyone is a teacher out there and knows where they make like chalk shaped chalk shaped like pins.
I want to, those pencils that you click.
Oh, I hate mechanical pencils.
And the lead comes out.
But you want the chalk to come out. Now they make holders that I have seen where you pop it open and
but we need in. But
we need it to be pointed. Yeah. Brandon is on it for us right now. Oh, he's showing us the coffee. Yeah, I know, Brandon.
See, some artists did that.
Right. How did they do that? They had to have a chalk pen to get those letters like that. There has to be something. And
no, they just know how to use it.
No, because how do you get it that skinny and straight? I don't
know. No, that's the chalk marker that we use.
Oh, that's not chalk. That's the chalk marker. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. And how'd they get those little I don't know. Yes, but that is smart. Brandon, we should hire someone at our local coffee shop.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we can probably, if we plan it out, at least we can find like a chalkboard artist on Craigslist and have them do it for like $50 and like do it for real.
Yes, but then also, you think, oh, I have more snakes on my behind the table, so when I sell one, I'm going to change it out. But then it's like, oh crap, we have no eraser to properly erase
the chalk. Since the wood's a little bit porous, it just didn't erase correctly. So I think that's why I need to put some more layers of paint on there. It started raining the next day, so it's like, okay, I'm not going to paint inside and I'm not going to paint in the rain. Obviously, that's very counterproductive. So I guess one layer will do. So
yeah, we ended up with big splotches of color on when we were trying to. We use Purell. Yeah, we used hand sanitizer and paper towels. So I mean, it was a little bit.
It ended up. We're making it sound like a disaster. It was.
It was just a little bit kindergarten craft show. It was just.
Yeah, it ended up looking just a little bit sloppy, which kind of makes sense because any art project I've ever done
is a failure.
Is a little bit sloppy. Yeah. So I should have known, but. So we put all the animals on there. We had like a perfect amount of animals to fill up the board, which is cool. And then we got a few animals behind to kind of fill in the spaces when other ones went, which is where the erasing came in because we were replacing animals. But
But there's still lots of good things. I think the coffee filters were great because it kept the coffee filters don't fit all the way in, which is annoying for getting it ready. But since it doesn't allow the snake to sit all the way back in the deli cup. It keeps them a little bit closer to the front. And I think that was nice for people, to be able to see it.
And plus the coffee filters are obviously white and it gave you a solid background to like properly see the snake.
Right. It was contrasting.
And then we should tell people like the other things that we brought with us, which I mean, what we should have done is bring more coffee filters. We forgot those, but we did.
Because of course, one shit.
Yeah, if you haven't done a reptile show before, like you need to bring your tablecloth. We brought our tablecloth. It was black. Everyone else's is black. We should get a different color because again, we're going different. But this is like a hand-me-down from your parents that we randomly got like 2 weekends ago. So.
Yes, that was also not big enough. We need a bigger one.
Yeah. So we definitely need a bigger tablecloth. We bought like an extension cord, power strip. The power strip obviously came in handy. We had a lamp for our board thingamajiggy, like just a clip-on lamp. There's a lot fancier ones you can get for sure, but
ours is free.
Ours is free, literally. And what else do we bring?
So, but in the future, we want to do 2 clip-on lamp, one on each side, right?
Yeah, to really give a good spread. And then also keep in mind that this board was 4x2. it wasn't the full length of the table, because the other length of the table, we had some other things on the table. But in the future, if we really wanted to fill the table with that, you can just make 2 4x2 boards. I think we could fit them on without are they 6-foot tables or 8-foot tables? I don't know. Someone's going to correct me in the comments. So
I don't know.
Probably
I think
6
they're
foot.
8
I'm
foot.
just an idiot. There you go. 8 foot. Sure.
I think that's why our tablecloth
someone's
barely
like,
missed
you're
it.
an idiot.
I don't know. Brandon had a suggestion of putting holes in the board where the deli cups sit in it.
Yeah, that's what people usually do with round deli cups. The thing, I didn't want to commit to the shape because they're square. But what happens when we don't want to do square ones or we don't get square ones? So the molding method will work for the circular ones and the square ones. I do like the PVC displays with plexiglass over them with the holes that are circular for deli cups, but we're not that fancy either. But
I do. Those are like kind of the most similar that are already out there to what we did. But I like that ours was a little bit more vertical, like the angle. I don't know why, but I like that more.
I think it gave people much more. The snake was tilted towards that. If this makes any sense, like. Because sometimes you're looking over the table or looking through the glass at the side of a snake. This gave you
you don't have to bend over so much
to see the top of each snake, because that's where all the color and the pattern is. So you want to see that part. And what else did we just brought paper towels. We just brought all your normal stuff besides coffee filters. And
Brandon also brought a good point that like the holes in the board would make it harder to steal. And that's something we talked about at the show, because I'd heard multiple times, like Carly brought up, people had snakes stolen at Tinley. And I've heard multiple times, but I always thought, like, how would someone get their snake stolen? Like, that's crazy. It's literally 2 feet in front of you. And then when we did our first show, I literally turned to Joe. I was like, oh my God, someone could take something in here while I'm talking to someone and they'd be gone immediately. Like, I would have no idea. And I do agree, though, especially with our display. If they could have gotten one on the bottom row of the board and they could be gone. So that was my only thing. I'm like, oh, they could definitely steal. I think it helps having 2 of us, where like if one person is talking to someone, the other person can kind of be on lookout.
Well, at one point, I had all of our supplies and stuff underneath our table. And then as the show went on, I just moved everything over, because then I was like half praying someone stole something. I was going to dive under the table and like, come on, that would be fun, right?
What?
If someone stole something, I'm going to run after them. So I needed like an escape plan.
You're going to run after someone for a $50 snake?
It's called principle. Of course I am.
Can I tell an anecdote?
Okay, anecdote.
At Mardi Gras one year, which obviously most of the world doesn't know, Mardi Gras is just in New Orleans, and it's a bunch of us standing in the middle of the street watching floats go by. And one time I was just standing with my group of friends, and I had my phone on my, like, holding it in my hand by my side, and someone ran past me and jacked my phone out of my hand. Yeah. And I sprinted after this girl and tackled her in the street and got my phone back. And everyone was like yelling at me because they thought like I was the crazy one because I was tackling her. But I was like, no, this is my fucking phone. Like, she just stole it. But
like, you can probably beat up like almost no full grown female.
I didn't have to beat her up. I just brought her to the ground and made her give me my phone back. Oh, there was no like actual like fighting
but happening. Anyway, that's what I would have done if someone stole a snake, no matter what. And I don't even care the deli cup breaks and the snake gets out. It doesn't matter.
You just want the person. What do you think is going to happen at this Oak show? I don't think there's any security or anything.
No one's looking at shit.
I don't know what would have happened if you just tackled this person. Like, I don't know.
No, but
I understand.
It was something that you had to think about when you're there, because people are even like picking up the deli cups. I didn't think people would be that like semi-rude about it, but they would look at the snake and then they'd get closer and then they'd like take the deli cup and like look at it. And, like,
which is, I don't know.
Cool. I mean, that's fine, but
yeah. it's fine, and there's no rules against it. And I went back and forth. Some people was like, "Oh, please put it down," like in my head. But other
you
people,
were judging people.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
because that's what I do. But other people was like, "Oh, I understand. You want to get a closer look at it." Yeah. And no other table can they get a closer look at it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Also, it seems accessible in bad ways and good ways, I guess. Because you could like take a closer look, or there's a few times where we let people hold things, and it was mostly kids. And honestly, we don't want to let people hold things, right? But that kind of with corn snakes, it's the make or break.
And it was so hard not to, because actually on one of our previous podcasts, someone posted a link that at this show, technically it is against the rules.
Right.
Like you're not allowed to hold things. And we went into it saying like, oh, like the show's kind of sketchy last time. Like we don't really want people to hold things.
Because you're thinking that kids are holding every snake in there.
Right. And not always doing the hand sanitizer or any of that. But there was so many times I ended up offering, and I was like, Melissa, what the heck are you doing? But it was, you know why? Because since corn snakes are such a starter snake, there were so many times it was like a mom and a kid, and the mom was like,
every time.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I never really I don't know anything about these. Like, they kind of make me nervous. And I'm like, do you just want to hold one? Because I knew that if they just held it, their idea would probably change about it.
And then that person's probably not holding every snake if they were that tentative to be.
No, I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, I know, but I'm saying as a byproduct.
That's the hard part is every time a person wasn't there, I'm like, okay, Melissa, don't offer. But then they're there. It's so hard not to.
And because people are like, they almost don't know what things are until they're in their hand.
Right. And I don't know, when I can tell your kid wants this so bad, and what's holding it back is the mom just not knowing. I'm like, come on, Melissa, good karma, right? Is good karma beat possible mites? No, but
yeah, that's not great karma.
Putting good out to the world.
But I mean, I'm so grateful that we have corn snakes, because you can literally do that to every one of the animals. Like, you could take out every single one and they would be chill,
I was so pissed at one point because I was literally sitting there explaining to one mom how calm these guys are and that they'll only get calmer with age. And this freaking dude, he obviously didn't know. He comes up while I'm doing this and it's like, oh, I have one corn snake and it's the meanest snake out of all of mine. Like, that thing is a devil. I'm like, shut up. I'm trying to explain right now.
Like, cool, dude.
Stop saying that.
Sweet.
It was so frustrating.
How are you? What are you really? I guess you did them a favor. They're not going to get a corn snake now. They're going to go get, anything else at the show. Like, what? Okay, yeah, then don't get a corn snake. Go get something else. Like, what's your other option? I'm confused. To me, there's no debate what you buy if you want a starter snake. There's just zero debate as far as for the keeper and for the kept a corn snake, because I mean, for the keeper, ball pythons are great, right? For the snake, maybe not so great. There's right now in the house, it's 30% ambient because the heat's on. That doesn't really fly.
30% ambient?
30% humidity. So, but that doesn't really fly for a ball python. So unless you have a snake room, you're cognizant of the humidity, all that stuff. You're gonna end up with a snake with bad sheds. For us, not a big deal. Corn snakes will usually have no problem shedding, even at really low humidity like that. So it's like, I don't see what the other option is here. The only other good thing is like carpet pythons, but they're nippy and as babies and they get a little bit too large. But as far as the kept goes, like I said, they are pretty much invincible in comparison to even a ball python.
But like, if you come up to me and you tell me your corn snake is the meanest in your collection, I'm honestly going to judge or question you first. Then
yeah,
snake,
like, what
to be honest, what are you
have?
Number one, what do you have? Number two, what are you doing? Because that's not how, like, that's not what the case should be. Like, obviously there's those outliers,
but the thing is, mine, I have some that seasonally are bad, and I have some that if you go in there and grab them, they're bad. But there's no snake that I can't take out once I grab it from behind or grab it with a hook first. I don't hook corns usually, but I'll usually at least grab them from
behind the head,
behind their, not the way that they're looking. I'm trying to figure out
from around the back.
Like the back third of their body. Pick that up first, and once they realize, then they chill out. Right. But if someone doesn't know that, like, I can probably go to that guy's house and pick up his corn snake. You know, I mean, anyone could really, if you just navigate its behavior a little bit. That's the thing. Like, it's still an animal. I mean, and it's not a matter of the snake being mean, or, I mean, all you guys know this. I'm talking to people who have snakes, you know, like, I'm acting like you guys don't know anything about keeping snakes, but I just don't see another option. But yeah, that, it's just unnecessary. I understand, because I have some snakes that are supposed to be really chill and they're not, or snakes that are supposed to be really mean and they're not, you know. But then again, I tell everyone my water python's amazing. But if you put your hand in there, that water python's gonna wrap your hand. But like, man, see, that's just it.
The other day,
that's just how the animal.
But we were taking pictures of the water the other day. We were so close. She wasn't doing shit.
I mean, I was paying attention.
But she wasn't.
But once she knows you're not food, she
wasn't launching out. But I've seen other waters.
If you don't feed her for 2 weeks and you put it there, so I find the liasis to be more temperamental. So, like, not temperamental like actual like attitude, but if you don't feed an olive python for 2 weeks or feed the water python for 2 weeks, then they're coming out at anything. So it depends. They can get like,
gotcha.
They can get more and more, I guess, hungry, you could say.
Oh,
so they're more reactive. Yeah, I want to say reactive, but
food aggressive is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's just so many
different things. But yeah, it was just back to the story. It was just bad timing. Also, to backtrack a little bit.
And I don't think that hurt us at all, by the way.
So no, it was just pissing me off. It was just really bad timing. I don't actually remember if that mom and son made a sale.
And it was like a pop in, like, you know, a floating head from the back.
Right. Just needed to tell us that statement. Didn't even really want to talk to us about it. Just felt the need to tell us that. Yeah. But backtracking a little bit, I don't know how they decide like the placement of tables or anything, but I was actually really happy with our placement.
Yes.
We were like in the middle, left to right and front to back. Would you say we were kind of like in the middle?
We were in the middle of the middle.
The middle of the middle. Yeah. Because in the front, I felt really bad for those people because that day was like our second really cold day of the season. Yeah. And it was windy as all hell.
And there's like an overhead door that was open.
And it kept blowing open because it was so cold. And obviously people constantly coming in. So those people in the front, I bet, number one, they were cold. Number two, their snakes were cold. Yeah. And like that wouldn't have been good. I would have been okay in the back. There were just some individuals I didn't want to be closer to in the back. So I'm okay. I really liked us. And we were 2 tables down from our friend Owen at Rogue Reptiles.
So, as you guys have probably seen, I guess people on the video will be able to see, I'm drinking out of my official Rogue Reptiles water bottle.
It's now the first thing he thinks about when he wakes up and the last thing at night, because he goes to bed with his water bottle and sees that lovely sticker, which I 50-50 liked being near Owen because one, it was great to just have someone we knew, but on the other side,
just soundbite that and not explain it at all.
Just
no. I like 50-50 liked being around Owen.
Yeah, I have to explain it, but it would be funny just to clip it at that. But it was great to have a friend nearby, but someone obviously liked being with Owen way more than he liked being with me. And half the time, Joe just kept leaving me at the table by myself to go talk to Owen. He would be like, oh, I'll be right back. And then I look over 15 minutes later and he's still over there talking to Owen. Or Owen would be like, hey, Joe, come watch my table while I go do this. Hey, Joe, come watch my table while I go do this. Like, guys, I don't know all this snake stuff. You can't leave me alone. This is my first time. And y'all kept leaving me alone. I was so frustrated.
And one time Owen's like, watch my table. And then people are asking me like carpet
questions. He tried to play it off like he knew those.
I mean, like I have them, but it's like you want to go into depth with these people because I think there's more in depth to go with. So like, how big does this get? I want it to be like, for you, probably like 8 feet. For me, like 4 feet. Like, what do you want? I don't know. You're going to feed them you're going to feed them a medium rat every week. I'm going to feed them a small rat every 3 weeks or something. Like, there's just so much more in depth I would like to talk about it with people. So it's hard with corn snakes. I can give like pretty definite answers, right?
Yeah.
But with that, I'm just like, yeah, jungle carpet gets 6 to 8 feet, which is huge. This is huge for a carpet, but it's not like they were gonna buy shit anyway. And Owen had this one coastal jungle big. I believe it was female in this big display case. And of course, by like 8 o'clock, he sold that. Like before the show, like even opened. And he's like, I wouldn't be able to do much with this otherwise, but someone bought it immediately, and he thought he was just going to have it as a display for like a bigger animal to have it out on the table. So the animal's gone. And then of course, and it's not like he told anyone about it, but he has a little label maker and he writes on it.
Which, by the way, that Owen has a label maker, also has foot pads, which are great, but just his whole
squishy foot pads
to stay comfortable. But like, he was just such a little, I don't even know what the word is, but it was so cute. All the little things, his little label makers, like he was just so put together and ready. It was adorable. But sorry, continue.
But the empty case just says invisible, rare, flying, spitting cobra or something. And I'm just like, what? And
people were asking him questions probably all day long. Like there's those people who got it and laughed, and those other people that are like, what?
It's also like a great Owenism, because who else thinks of that shit?
Right.
Who does that?
No one. I saw this big thing. It's empty. Let me just fuck with people all day.
Because like, yeah, you don't want an empty case there. And it makes so much sense because people are going to read it and be like, what the fuck? Or they're going to laugh. And either way, you got them at least to read it.
That's your hook.
Yeah. So I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was hilarious when I first saw it, but
yeah. And you tried to add to it when you were watching his table, but you weren't fast enough.
So Owen decided that obviously he's going to put these rogue reptile stickers everywhere, which I didn't notice, and they were accumulating.
Least observant person in the world.
Let him though. I think that's a you issue that you let him put stickers.
Because I knew you wouldn't notice.
That is not.
Well,
you got to protect our space.
Yeah, but any other individual would see it immediately, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah, and then later when Owen asked me to watch this table again,
Joe tried to get him back.
Okay, well, he was gone for about 5 minutes, and I was just sitting there doing nothing. And then I go, holy shit, this label maker's right here. He's been sticking me with stickers. And at this point, I didn't know, but I had one right on my fucking back that I walked around all day with. Or walked around. You didn't even tell me. Once again, you're clearly not on my team. You didn't tell me. You weren't on my team.
You left me. You wanted to be with Rogue Reptiles, and you got it.
So finally, I see the label maker. He's been gone for a while, so he's got to be gone for longer. I start typing in Port City Pythons to put my stickers everywhere, and he showed up. Yeah. So I wasn't able to label.
He's not his WPM on the label maker isn't super fast.
Do you know? No, I put like Port City Pythons, and I started going ... corn snakes.
Oh, you were doing too much. Too much.
Yeah.
Shame.
So we
didn't get Owen back.
But he came back just in the nick of time.
But it was still nice just because we didn't really know anyone to have someone near us. And then on the left side of us, actually turned out nice that I wasn't expecting. We fudged up and failed at bringing change, like failed miserably. We came to the show with a 50, 2 10s, and like 2 1s, and we're expecting to like do life off of that.
Do life.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. We're expecting to make change off of that, and it was a terrible idea. So, but also at one point, this is awkward. Joe went to the bathroom for like half an hour. And
well, because I went and I got caught up with.
And you're gone and you took your wallet with you. And so someone's coming to make a sale. And I had like, I don't know, I hadn't given you my change yet. So I had like $10 or whatever. And I couldn't make change. And I go to Owen. I'm like, Owen, do you have any change? He's like, no, I have $1. Crap. Like, what do I do? This just looks so unprofessional. Like, I don't know what to do with this guy. So thankfully the ball python breeder next to us, and I feel like we should shout him out, but I have no idea what it was like nice balls.
Or balls nice. Or something, just some balls. Play on your balls, okay?
Yeah, with the Z.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes balls with the Z. But he was very nice and like lent me the change. Actually, he lent it to me twice. Because something happened again. So thank you. But if you're ever doing a show, bring change or get the little square card readers, which we hope to have next time because a lot of people obviously have cards.
And I think we got pretty lucky with who we were next to.
Yeah, because they weren't sketchy.
Yeah. On our left was ball python people. On our right was a kid with a bunch of wild caught animals, but he was harmless, I think.
Yeah. And
all the animals looked.
We usually like throw kid around like loosely. Like, no, this was legit.
He was
in high school.
Legally a child.
He was legally a child vending his own table.
And if you're listening to this,
child,
we need to stop calling you child. It's super disrespectful because you're only like
a child.
Yeah, you're only like
like 16?
Really a few years younger than us, a decade younger.
Babe,
than us.
He's 10 years younger than you.
Yeah, but we were that age too. But at one point, and the fact that he's at his own show is impressive.
By himself, his table had a significant amount of stuff, like stuff more expensive than like we even
Indonesian
had.
Banded water snake or some shit that I've never heard of. And I'm like,
right? Yeah, I remember one of the time I looked over at the table and I was like, Joe, I've literally never heard of this snake. Like, what is this? Like, crazy stuff that like I'm sure half the people in high school who like snakes never could imagine doing this. And I mean, this show is
and they were clean. They didn't look terrible.
Right.
You would think that they would look terrible, but they weren't. And then next to him was Owen. So
yeah, we got pretty lucky with our placement and everything.
Yeah.
Brandon asked if he was selling imports.
Yeah, they were all imported, or even there was some North American stuff that was wild caught. But
so are you saying he has a rich uncle somewhere?
What are you talking about? No, he just bought from an importer. It's not that hard.
Oh, okay.
He's not like the importer. I think people get that twisted because a lot of these jobbers and I hate to use like that weird snake industry term, but a lot of these guys, they don't import the animals. They buy from a person who imports the animals. They may even buy from a person who buys from a person who imports the animals. The real importers, typically aren't in shows, or if they are, who they are. They're big, and that's not always a bad thing. There's some people who do it the right way. There's some people who do it the wrong way. So I don't like to judge them at the fact that they're import animals. Like, I don't think that a show should have all captive born and bred. I like the idea of a show being all captive born and bred, but if that's the case, I'm never going to see an Indonesian banded water snake or whatever the hell that thing was. Like, also, there are some things that just aren't, established in the hobby, and I would like to at least see them, if not, and have people trying to breed them. That's the thing, when people just go buy these, not buy literally, but just pass these animals by and never work with them, and an importer sells them like if just like there was kids walking out with alligators and stuff. Like,
oh, that was not kids, those were grown adults.
No. There was before that. There was like a 16-year-old with an alligator, with a baby alligator. It's a little disappointing. Like, you should have better judgment than that. But if you're going to be importing animals and you're selling to people who want to educate themselves on how to take care of them, it's not like the last show where like you just let someone buy a dragon rat snake because it looked cool. Like, yeah, that thing's going to die in 2 weeks. So there's a steady, the answer somewhere in the middle with that stuff, because we need that kind of stuff. And I mean, we should all do our part in establishing some rare species like that. Like that would be, you should have at least one, like if you are breeding a bunch of animals, even if you have, 60 ball pythons, why not have one pair of Indonesian banded water snakes or one pair of elephant trunk snakes or something fucking crazy that no one else is working with, so that we can eventually stop the importing of these animals and give them to people in a captive bred setting or as a result of captive breeding. And that's how conservation happens.
So is he like not as cool then as I thought?
Or no, he's still pretty cool
for being 16 and
the animals didn't die yet.
That's like what defines
maybe
being
he
cool.
had him for like a day. I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. Because I'm weird. I hardcore stalked him. Yeah. And he like seems like he keeps them well, and he's really into it. And that's how we found out he was in high school, because I stalked him.
Which now is illegal. if you were literally stalking him when he's 16.
Age doesn't matter in stalking. It's
stalking.
Stalking.
It's just weirder.
Sorry, but yeah. Across, no, I don't want to go there. But like you said, there are some alligator things that I really wasn't okay with.
Yeah, I mean, there's gimmicky people out there, no matter where you are. There's always going to be people who seek attention at the expense of an animal. And, that's going to happen at every show. It's the guy walking around with the retic around his head who, doesn't realize that the animal hunts birds, and why is it perching on my head? And I'm walking by a sea of people. What could possibly go wrong? The guy with the
that bothers me less than the alligator.
Yeah. The guy with the 6-foot alligator with his mouth taped shut half of the time.
Yeah, half the time. Half the time. Like I already was like giving him the side eye across from us when the tape was on, but when he took that tape off and then they were like going somewhere and walked next to our table with it, and I literally like backed the F up. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to curse.
Fuck.
Brandon Fowler's listening, and he listens with his kids, and we like Brandon Fowler.
See, look at what you did now.
No, you did it. I was trying to be respectful to our nice friend and great individual, Brandon Fowler. You messed up. But I jumped back, so I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near this. And the guy looks at me, he's like, don't be scared. Like, you're fine. It's fine. And I really wanted to tell him off. But
well, no, I just don't like the fact that, you're bringing it around, putting it in everyone's faces, giggling about it, and having people touch it and shit. It's just silly. If you want attention, I don't know what you can do for attention.
But... Oh, there was another one. At the front, there was like this table had a sign like $5 for a selfie with a 10-foot snake. And I haven't rolled my eyes that hard in a while. But like, what? Why? Are you that desperate for money, people, that you're going to do that?
Yeah, if anyone did that, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure someone did it.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone did it. I'm like developing a lisp today. I'm sure some kid was like, Mom, like 10 feet. I got to see it.
I don't know. That's not as,
that
that's
one
really
bothered
whatever.
Me too.
And then that's the same guy across from us who asked me what my special was.
Okay. Do we talk about this all the way, or do we not?
I think we tell the situation so that people don't get in the same situation, because listen, I trust people until I have reason not to trust them, right? And then once I don't trust them, I hope that they die.
Okay, excuse me.
So
a little rough, a little harsh.
Not literally, but like close. But so I had this ball python on my table because, as you guys may know, my dad was giving up his collection. I was selling some of his collection, and I had one snake with me, and my dad bought it at the White Plains show from a reputable person as an orange dream.
We can drop that name, right?
What?
Who he bought it from?
Oh, I'm not 100% sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't.
But, sorry.
But my dad forgot.
I thought it was the.
No. I don't think so. I think that was the Ultramel that was from him. But so I had it on my table for $75. And then I was like, let's just do this to try to.
It had been a significant amount of the day had passed. Yeah. And it's like, I was like, dang, I thought this was going to be the first snake we sell. But so, yeah, you decided to drop the price. So then I slashed it
to $50. All right. It's a $50 snake, right? Orange Dream. Listen, I know that that's below market value. And yeah, no one wants a single G male. But don't come over and ask what my lowest price is. Okay, that's fine. And if I give you something respectable, then you take it.
Right. You even offered him 40. You offered him. But it was the thing was, it was like 3 strikes against him. It was 1, he asked what your best price is. 2, he was like, can I, look at it? And then he took it back to his table and to his little posse over there. And like, I was watching them. They looked
it up and down everywhere as if they have some type of fucking standard, because listen, they had bought pretty much anything to put it out and sell it.
They had an MBK over there for $250 next to a ball python next to it. I mean, they weren't caring about it.
No.
But like, it was just the way they were like investigating it and looking at it was really starting to bother me. Like, he had it for at least 5 minutes over there, like going back and forth between his 2 friends. Like, they were all checking it out, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so that we were already like, that whole time you and I were just getting like more and more frustrated.
Another fucking ball python sale that is pissing me off.
Because almost every ball python sale is really annoying. I'm like, not one corn snake person asked
like
us
this thing
what our
eats
special
frozen
was.
thawed every time. Can you say that for any one of your other animals? Like, this would be the nicest animal on your table as far as quality goes, and for someone to actually get.
Right. Also, we're not stupid. We know you're gonna buy this, take it, probably triple the price.
Yeah,
and
you're
sell
gonna
it
sell
on
it
your
for
table
$100.
right across from our table. Like, we're not stupid.
Yeah.
Like, also just
But
so the worst part.
He comes over and he says, "This isn't an Orange Dream. This is an Enchi. I'll give you $25 for it." I said, "Well, it looks like I'm gonna feed this for the rest of its life rather than give it to you."
You did not say that.
No, I didn't say that, but that's what I thought.
Say that.
No.
Okay.
And then but what I said was like, I'm just gonna feed it then.
No,
like,
we
I'm
said
just gonna keep it.
That's not true. We said, okay, well, my dad is actually here at the show. The guy who bought this, like, let me ask him. And your dad was somewhere. So we waited.
And then my dad brought it to another guy and he was like, I don't want to say for sure because Orange Dreams are, there's good quality, bad quality, whatever. And then the guy next to us, who's a ball python guy, I was like, hey man, like they're saying this isn't an Orange Dream. And who knows, maybe to the best of their knowledge, that wasn't an Orange Dream.
But the way they went about it, like, he was so freaking certain. Like, no, dude, like, there's no way there's Orange Dream in this. Like, there's Enchi. There might be some. He said one other one that I can't remember. He's like, there might be some of this in it, but like
pastel Enchi, or something.
Like something like that. He's like, but there's no way there's Orange Dream in it. Like, no, like $25.
So the guy next to us, I'm like, hey man, like, I don't know much about this, and then he's like, yeah, that's Orange Dream. So I was like, oh, okay. So someone tried to fuck me over, didn't they? Like, this guy tried to tell me that it was something that it wasn't, even if he thought that it was. And then he tries to give me $25 for something that's clearly, I bet you he would have sold that as an Orange Dream eventually. But I mean,
I just can't even imagine if we walked by someone's table, like, in you knowing all the corn snake stuff that you do, if you saw something mislabeled, would you ever tell the person? I wouldn't. I think that's rude.
Well, no, I don't care about that. I care about the fact that other people said, if I knew for sure, then yes. But if other people disagree with that, then.
But you're not going to do it in a dickish, like, such a dickish way that he did.
Also, I'm never going to see a $75 animal and offer $25 for it.
Right.
That's just not. It doesn't pass my moral compass of being a human being, but who has a moral compass when they have a ball python around their neck all day and around their head,
and then an alligator in their hand,
and then an alligator in their hand, and it's just the epitome of what we need to get the fuck out of these reptile shows and everything.
With the F word.
No, this deserves it. Because honestly, man, it just, and that guy's gonna be out in 2 seconds. One animal's gonna get sick, and then all the rest of the animals are gonna get sick, and then he sells things off. I mean,
and we're not certain of this, but I just have this feeling that he knew that we obviously weren't ball python people.
He knew that was the only ball python.
He knew we didn't know much, and I feel like he was trying to take advantage of it. Obviously, we have no way to ever be certain of that, but that's just the feeling I got, that like he was like, oh, these people, they don't know anything. Like, let me go say this, and it just felt wrong. And your dad was even more pissed than us. Like, your dad was like, no, like, I paid good money for this thing. Like, I know what, like, I only get things that I know are this. Like, no way. Your dad, like, went storming off to go talk to his friend from the White Plains show, who is, like, a good guy and knows a bunch of stuff. Yeah. And so, like, we were just so pissed. Like, don't try to take advantage of us. There's no reason, especially when your table is right across from us.
And the animal's already cheap, man. The animal's already cheap.
It's $50. Like, at that point, we're like, we'd rather not sell it at all.
No, it's principle at that point. You don't sell it for anything. You could have offered me $100. It's done at that point. It's done.
We were just pissed.
No, you don't. Just, why would you do that to someone who's like a fellow vendor? A person who should be, I don't know. I feel like at least when you breed things, you have a respect
for other breeders.
A little bit. Some people are the worst of all time, and I mean, there are still some breeders that
we don't have respect for. We can't say that because we don't have respect for all breeders.
No. But at least don't try to take advantage of someone. I just don't see. And I mean, does he think that maybe we won't vend the next show? Like, I don't know. Or maybe we never find out. Maybe you bank on the fact that we never find out. But
we'd find out that you sell it for triple the price right across from
us. But that's what you expect. If someone's going to buy, that they're going to resell it. But I don't know. It's just frustrating, man. Just don't.
Yeah. That was like our big damper.
Don't be that guy. If you are that guy, then stop being that guy immediately. And have some respect for yourself, the animals, and other people around you.
And don't sell MBKs for $250.
No, you can do that as long as you breed them yourself.
Probably
no, just
didn't.
Kidding. You can do whatever. No, they definitely didn't. When you talk about, they haven't bred anything. But no, I'm just saying, like, do whatever you want. I'm all for people making money on animals the right way, doing whatever. I don't care if you buy wholesale animals and resell them. I do not care about anything. Don't take advantage of people. And if you're taking advantage of me as a seller, then you're taking advantage of your buyers as well. That he doesn't stop at, us. He also doesn't tell everyone the whole truth. If you're bullshitting us, there's no reason you don't bullshit a customer. So just nah.
Just no. Just no.
Where were we?
And don't walk around with an alligator without shape. Funny story.
I mean, you can do whatever.
We heard a weird amount of Philly alligator stories. Like, people in Philly are crazy with alligators. Like, multiple in-basement nutso stuff.
Apparently, drug dealers like to keep alligators in their basements. What is it about drug dealers
and alligators?
Well, no, it could be like a tiger, or it could be anything. But I guess you gotta feed people to them, or something, or at least have that intimidation.
No.
What do you think that's
not
just
all
for
drug
fun?
Dealers are murderers. Some are
the good ones are. You're thinking of the dude in your high school science class, Trevor, who like sells weed or something. No, these are like guys who like are pushing bricks of coke. Like, these are like real drug dealers, not that little shit that you fuck with in high school.
Sorry, Brandon Fowler.
Yeah, you got to check out at this point. Sorry, bud.
It lost its PG rating a long time ago.
We're not talking about just...
I know, but still, I think it's more than just to feed people to it. I think it's
But it's like, hey, dude,
they become in the life of luxury because also those people have like gold jewelry and stuff.
Like the alligator's on a gold leash or something. But it's also like you're like, hey, dude, because they're not dealing with buyers, right? They're dealing with people who sell also.
Right.
Yeah, so they're like, hey, dude, you better give me my money for that.
Or you can go down to the basement.
Your ass is going to be in there with those fucking alligators, dude. I drilled a pond into my basement of my Philly row home to throw you into this fucking gator pit, dog. You better not fuck around.
And he's being ridiculous, but true. That is exactly the stories we heard. Like someone literally killed the foundation of their house just to hold their alligator. And we had heard at least like 3 stories about like the same thing.
Yeah,
like it's alligators in basements. And I think one of them wasn't drugs. I think someone just was crazy and like liked alligators. But like what? It was weird. Also, like, why was everyone telling us this? We didn't ask.
That's true. It came up like
it just came up with all these different people. Like they just felt, I don't know, inclined to tell us these alligator stories. I think we were good about talking. We had good customer service at the show.
All right, let's tell everyone about.
I felt like we were talking, especially.
No, it's just that we aren't tired of talking to people yet. Not yet, at least.
Well, it was also say it's good customer service once it started. There was always, at least for me, that awkward moment, like when someone first walks up and I'm like,
say, hey,
do I say, right. Do I just let them peruse till they ask a question? Do I like wait till they're hanging out for a little bit? You know, like I never know when to say something first. And your line was always like, if you have any questions, let us know. And then
I feel like every time you walk into a retail store, like you're looking around, you don't want anyone to talk to you. And that's
what they say.
Yeah. So, and you always hate it, but like, because at least me, it's like, don't talk to me.
I'm like, I don't. Right.
So you never know if it's that person or if it's a person who really has questions but are too nervous to say it. So you never know how to read it. So you're always constantly like, do I bother them? Do I not bother them?
Right. But like, if you're just like walking by, I don't want to say, I don't want to say anything. Also, you said it so many times. It was literally in my head to the point where even when you weren't at the table and people would walk by, I would be like, if you have any questions, let us know. And I'm like, oh my God, there's no us. It's just me. I can't say us. And I did it at least 3 times.
People do that with businesses all the time. They act like they have like employees or like something.
Us,
they're like,
it's just,
come by and see us. And
like, it's just a me. But yeah, like, I don't know if that's something we'll get more comfortable with over time of like figuring out when to speak to the person.
Yeah, but it's like also the follow-up. It's like most people are so sick of hearing the same thing. And I hope we can keep the fact that we're okay with answering the same thing over and over again. But I know that it's hard to keep
I was okay with it.
Yeah,
but
totally
it's our first show. So.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give us like 5 years or something. It may be different. But
those quote unquote stupid questions didn't really bother me.
Is it male or female? We just talked about that.
That's next level stupid.
No,
but like corn, sorry, not stupid, just unobservant.
Yeah.
The
like
corn
stickers.
Mm-hmm. The corn snake related questions that are considered, low level. Those didn't really bother me, like because it was because
you have to answer.
But it was kind of fun because it was again. Sorry, there's lots of moms and kids,
and it was surprised.
It was like they're like
all the answers are
they
good.
They were like, wait. What? It doesn't need a lamp? Like, no way. Or like, what? It eats fuzzies? I'm like, yeah. Like, I was so like it was fun because they were so shocked. Like, and I think that kind of like made it not as frustrating because it wasn't like, I don't know how to describe it, but they were so shocked that I felt like I was like really opening up their eyes.
There was, I mean, everyone's comment.
99% of the comments is, "Oh my God, it's so small.
What does it do?"
Oh my God. Like literally the first thing out of that did get kind of annoying after a while.
But it was a good opener because we could talk about it, and I could be like, "Hey, they hatch out half the size or whatever." Right. It was always, and some girl would be like, "That's adorable," and then so it's like it was able to start a conversation after that, but also like I didn't know that people didn't realize that they come out this small because everyone else at the show has ball pythons or basically other pythons that start out much larger than a corn snake. And people just literally have not seen a baby corn snake, which is sad because corn snakes used to be the most popular snake at the show. But now people are like, what's a corn snake?
Kevin said kale.
Yeah, they don't eat kale. Some of mine are vegan, but that's by choice. They're just paler and more tired.
Yeah. And that brings me to another point, not really, but like points down the line. I meant to say this earlier when you were talking about Owen having a big snake there. You and I brought up the point that something we want to do different our next show is to have maybe 1 or 2 adult animals on the table, because that's another thing. People are like, 1, they didn't believe that it was half the size when it first came out. 2, they didn't believe that it would get
because no one wants to keep a snake that stays that small.
Thank you for cutting me off.
Okay.
They didn't believe that it was half the size when it first came out, and they didn't believe that it would get 3 to 4 feet. Not that they thought like 3 to 4 feet was like super huge, but they're looking at this. They're just like, how could this, like become 3 to 4? Like that concept blew people's minds. And so I think it would be really, really great to have an adult for size reasons. Also for some of our morphs that people don't know as much about, or the like really popular ones, like the honey. I think maybe we have the honey, one of the honey parents.
Miami Okatee.
I was going to say that next. Yes, the honey, because it's really popular, in the Miami Okatee because people just don't know as much about it, and it's a showstopper. That or the coral ghost stripe dad. I think those would have been good, like attention eye getters. That's not the word.
Eye getters. Plucking them out, keeping them in your pocket.
What's the expression?
Yeah, and like Brandon said, reverse Okatee. That's what I would bring, our fluorescent reverse Okatee. I call it something different every time. Basically what it is a red factor reverse Okatee, but people don't like to adopt the red factor thing because no one back in the day knew how it was inherited. Now that we do, I want to use it, but then people will shit on me for using it and like not using something else. So I don't know what to do. So that's what it is. It's cool.
Oh, eye catchers. Thanks, Kiki.
Yeah. Kiki.
Do you love me?
Woo! Okay, let's not do that ever again.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we want to bring some adults to display properly in some type of fashion. Just
I was about to ask you. So how do you want to do that? Are we just gonna go the deli cup route? Do we?
I know, because you want a big acrylic display of some sort.
You need acrylic funds.
Well, we can figure out a way to build something. Don't worry about it, and we'll write chalk on it or something. Who knows?
I don't know. Our people think of ideas for us of cheaper ways and different ways to display our eye catcher adult animals.
Yeah,
I don't know,
because that would make such a big difference in whether it's explanation or whether it's just
attracting people
just to stop at the show, or at our table. Because honestly, it's weird because you think at the show you're like, in general, we're like not very salesy, right? When we sell snakes, but at a show, people are there for snakes and for other reptiles. But if you don't catch their eye, then a corn snake somewhere else may catch their eye. So like, it's not like you're being overly salesy, but you definitely want people to be attentive so that you have a good show. It's hard to, I think the balance is different than if it was like online and all the time you're like trying to, because I don't ever want to sell people on animals, because those are the people who
aren't going to keep it alive.
Yeah. You want someone to really, want an animal. So that's why, at a show, we just want people to stop so that we can talk to them, so we can do everything. And you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry. Wow. I had to check how long we've been doing this, because I remember I told you this is not going to be a long show. We're already over an hour, not an hour and a half.
Hour and 15. Because that's
I don't know.
But I wanted to talk about, because kind of Brandon asked just how we did at the show in general.
Well, the thing is, we don't have anything to compare it to. Yeah. So going into it, I said, I just want to break even. So like we said, it was $75 for the table. And would you say we
All right,
spent?
let's put it in perspective. I sold, so you guys know I distribute Gap's EcoSys coconut husk bedding. So I do the cocoa chips and the cocoa peat. Something weird is happening in there, but so I sold to a pet store prior. I sold them 30 bags of cocoa chip or something at a good price. Or good price for them, not really for me, but I still made $115 or something before I went to the show, and we were going to meet him at the show. So if you count that, we broke even before he even showed up to the show.
I didn't count that.
But just saying, like, if you have a different avenue, if you can sell snakes and then say, hey, just pick them up at the show, that's one way to kind of increase your revenue at the show if you count that.
No. Okay, so $75 for the table. And would you say you spent like $40 in total supplies for the display?
Yeah, it was super cheap. It ended up being probably altogether like $55.
Okay.
A lot of it was made with scrap wood. So it's like we didn't even pay for a portion of it.
No.
So it was
we paid for like the paint, the markers, the molding,
and like the actual board that it was on, sanded nice and everything. So.
Right. So okay, $50. What's 75 plus 50?
125.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So 125. I came into it wanting to just break even, and we 100% did that.
Yeah.
So in that way, I'm like, cool, we did great. And in the other way of like, we've never done this before, I have nothing to compare it to. Cool, we did great. But then I don't know if my expectations are just weird, but like when I think about how many we brought home, I'm like, oh, we didn't do that well. I think we ended up selling about 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And I just haven't talked to enough people who've done shows. I mean, we talk to people all the time who've done shows, but I never have asked people like specifically.
It also depends what
how many shows did you, or how many animals did you sell?
And I've known of people like making, Tinley is different because I know people who went to Tinley made zero money, made $400, made $10,000, made $15,000. It's so across the board. But the fact that we were able to go 20 minutes away from our house and do
first time
being there, so we don't really have an established market here. It may be different if you go to the same show time after time after time. People start knowing you, people start trusting you, people start buying from you over and over again. You have repeat customers. But the first time, and I mean, should we say how much we made?
No, I think just saying $6 or $7. No, that's weird. 6 or 7. Okay. I was supposed to say $6 or $7. Lols. 6 or 7 snakes.
So yeah, you know about how.
And then like I don't know. At the show, we sold like 3 blocks, little blocks of the peat. I mean, those are only $1.50 each. So, and then I think we sold actually to the guy next to us, the balls guy next to us, we sold 1 or 2 big bags of the cocoa chips.
Yeah, so, we sold to a few people going by and springtails and stuff.
Lols, the springtails. That was also an awkward experience for when Joe left me. Those people would come up and be like, what's in here? And I'm like, springtails. I'm like, really? Number 1, what are those? And I'm like, it was a total BS answer that I gave. Number 2, where are they? I'm like, I don't know because I can't see them either. Every time I ask Joe, I'm like, even doing this with squeezing my fingers together doesn't even show how small they are.
Thing you can see, and they're just a little bit bigger
atom.
Than that.
They're the size of an atom.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know that guy? Adam? No, never mind.
What?
No, way over the head.
It's not a good joke.
I know, it's terrible. I just made it up, man. What am I supposed to do?
Atom. Thank you.
Oh,
bad joke. But yes, springtails. It's like we didn't do as many as I wanted to do on those. I was hoping those would sell out. Also, someone put them for $8 like a weirdo. Not warning. Future tip: 5s or 0s. 5s and 0s is what you should make all things, not $8. Or he sold the cocoa chips for $17. Like, why are you doing these weird ass numbers, Joe? I don't understand what was in his brain when he was making up these prices. But yeah, springtails are really hard to see. And like when people come up and they don't know, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, the thing is, if you don't know, then they're clearly not for you. So it doesn't matter. Like, oh, like, yeah, you're not going to keep these bugs as pets. Like when you, you know, if you're looking for springtails, you're going to get springtails. And that's pretty much that.
Yeah. I mean, some people did, and they knew like, oh, they're for frogs. You should explain right now while we're talking about it.
You should explain what springtails are. You guys all know what springtails are. You put them in your bioactive vivarium.
For
they
frogs.
Eat your shit and piss.
It's only for frogs, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not any bioactive, but the most efficient way is to use them for frogs. Really, there's, you know, springtails are not going to break down you know, any type of python crap or corn snake even. I mean, they're tiny little bugs. Even isopods, you know, they're not going to eat all the excrement.
Thank you. I like that word.
Thank you. From your snake.
What
you know,
were you watching recently? Oh, never mind. Total aside. I won't divert us. Like
I was trying to explain what springtails were. And then, of course, this guy in very Phillies fashion was just like, I wish I could do the accent. I'm so sorry. I can't do the accent. I thought about it for a second. And I kind of forgot what it sounds like. Like, so you're telling me they eat shit? And then I'm like, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They eat shit. Yeah, there you go. Because I was trying to be like, well, they eat.
You're trying to think of like a
excrement may have been a good word, but
we were trying to like, you know, class it up a little bit. Yeah. But no, I was thinking of that. Shoot, I want to talk about this, but it has nothing to do with the show, the reptile show. But I've been wanting to talk about it. We were recently watching a show on, I don't even remember what channel.
Is this subject long enough for me to pee during your explanation?
I guess. Okay, I can make it. But wait, what channel? Was it Nat Geo or Discovery?
Oh, it was Nat Geo.
Nat Geo. We were recently watching this show called Snake City on Nat Geo.
City, bitch.
Wow. Nat Geo. And it was in season 5. And we were like, how the heck have we not heard of this show? And it's already on season 5. Like, it's everything snake reptile related. You'd think you would have heard of it. But on the episode we were watching, they just kept calling it poop. And I don't know why, but it really bothered me. Like, they're like, this snake poop and snake poops this and snake poops that. And I just felt like it was so weird for them to say poop 30 times in an hour episode. So when we were at the reptile show, I was like, okay, wait, we need to choose a different word. But side note, has anyone ever heard of the show Snake City? Because clearly we are behind. It's this guy in South Africa and his girlfriend who have this show, and they go out in South Africa and basically like collect snakes from people's homes who've clearly won it out. And it's like mostly, at least the episodes we watch, it was like some cobras. There was a what was it? Cobras. There was a ball. There was a mamba. Wasn't there even like a ball python?
African rock python. There's a big difference.
I'm terrible. It looked like a ball python.
Looked the same.
Yeah, it looked the same. But are we the only ones who are behind, or does everyone else not know this show?
Shout out to Reptile and Chill. So the guys over in the UK, they actually had them on their podcast, and that's pretty much the only reason why I knew about it. Otherwise, you would think.
No, I had heard about it we were trying to find a TV show to watch, and we were like on some app, and I like scrolled through and it happened to pop up before, but we didn't actually pull the trigger. No. But yeah, okay.
But yeah, I didn't know about it until those guys had them on there, and at least to my knowledge, apparently I did. And I don't know, it was interesting. The whole time you're like, fuck. Like, no, don't do that. And then it's always like there's a mamba in a pile of like 1 million pieces of scrap wood
or brush.
And you have to go through it, and you're like, all right, these guys are never finding anything. And I think like the biggest thing you take from it is like, well, there's a big discrepancy between people's living conditions
in
like
South Africa.
Like they're one time they're taking some spitting cobra out of like some mansion's pool.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were doing the boat. Sorry. First, not even mansion's pool that they swim in. It was like the front.
It's like a moat.
It was a display pool. Like literally, they had 2 display pools, and it swam from like they had the girlfriend was in one pool and the guy was in the other, trying to figure out which one.
Imagine the worst way to catch a venomous snake, like in the water with this thing, because like if you guys have ever seen snakes in the water, like
so fast,
chances are I don't know if they would bite you, but I mean, you don't want to touch that thing. It's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
And
they go from this huge mansion display water to, and it's funny because you said it was like the worst, but I think the poorer side was even worse.
Oh yeah.
But you said the mansion part was the worst because in the water. But when they go into these literal shacks, like
made out of probably cow shit of some sort, like it's mud.
That was the outside, but then to insulate, to keep themselves warm, it was just stuff. I mean, papers and mattresses
just filled with shit,
and like just shit. And imagine trying to find a snake in that. Also, it was so dark in there, even though it was
they don't have like lights in there,
right, or windows, because it's a literal shack. It was daytime outside, but when they went in that shack, it was so dark, and they're just having to go through. I mean,
and like these people, it's not like they were very tidy. There was shit everywhere, and then there's venting on the floor, on the ceiling, because it's hot as fuck, because it's South Africa, and there's no fucking windows, so it's just basically open. So this snake, they went back like 6 times, dude. They went like it just goes from house to house.
Right.
Like
they got a call. Couldn't find it. Got another call in the same neighborhood. Couldn't find it. Got like a third call in the same neighborhood. And finally, in the 3rd shack, they found it.
And these people are living in these shacks, but they pull the snake out and they all have like their cell phones out and stuff.
That's Carly Jones just asked, like, is it worth watching?
For sure.
That's the part that bothered me the most. Like the actual like finding the snake part really didn't bother me, but the after part, like, okay, number one.
It's like it's legit information. That's what matters, I think, when it comes to the snake shows. Like it's not fearful, it's not misinformation. They're doing their best to educate people about the snakes. Yes, they're like in sketchy situations, but I think they are really sketchy situations. Like it's not.
No. That's not what bothered me. And I guess it balances out, because so after they get the snake, in normal times, you get the snake, you put it in the bag, you bring the container to the bag. Like the container would come to the house, or shack. And you put the bag straight in the container and you walk the container to the car. It's over. That's it.
Yeah.
Because like you want to be as, quickly as possible. But once they have the snake, that it's hard, because I understand like they're doing this to educate people, but that's the part that bothers me. You spend a solid 5 minutes of the guy trying to grab the snake by its head. So obviously, like, the squeezing the side so it cannot bite him, but like that's a whole process. He's holding the head, the girlfriend's holding the tail, and then they stand there and they're like, they give a little spiel about like what the snake is, 2 3 stop.
Yeah,
they give 2 3 facts, and they're like, oh, you want to touch it? And I'm like, no, put that shit in a bag and take it off. It is a cobra. No, don't let these be like, I know you have the head secure and like nothing's gonna happen, but no, that's what really bothers me. Also, yes, like I'm like, wait, these people live in shacks with no electricity, no running water, no this, but y'all got cell phones to film this? What is happening right now?
Well, and I don't think that that's a part of the people who have the show, because that's the producer's idea. They're like, hey, we need to get something out of this, like they need the extra point, the extra basically footage of them educating the public of it, because people are like freaking out or amazed. Like they get good reactions out of people, but he has to head the cobra or the mamba every single time, which is super dangerous. And he says how dangerous it is, but I think they kind of need to show it off for the cameras. They probably wouldn't do that on a regular call or something.
Right, and that's what I mean. I guess they just need to get over it.
Or they just don't have a show. That's the thing. It's like, what's the alternative then? Then you don't get the information out there. You don't have a show that's actually decent. So it's really hard to fault people on stuff like that, because it's dangerous. Yeah, it's unnecessary risk. or you don't have a show. The thing is, like, what's that in comparison to Steve Irwin, free handling rattlesnakes, free handling mambas, free handling a lot of brown snakes, fear snakes, all that stuff, red belly blacks. He's just free handling all that stuff. Listen, if you're gonna
much more dangerous,
if you are going to criticize these guys in South Africa about heading the cobra to educate people, you gotta watch some of that because
I know. And
he's not exactly up to protocol.
I'm only criticizing like 15%, and that's pretty good. A lot of stuff on the interwebs, I criticize like 95% of it. So like, no, I think overall the show is good. It's only that one little part that bothers me. And the poop. I need them to stop saying poop over and over.
But I think it's a necessary part of the show, unfortunately. It's like a necessary evil. It's kind of, you got to take the good with the bad. Yeah. Unfortunately, if there was a show that was all just what we want,
it wouldn't be popular.
Other people wouldn't like it. It would just be us. Right. And guess what, guys? There's not a lot of snake people out there.
Yeah.
There are, but there aren't. There's not a lot of people like us in a way.
But it's a good show. This is weird to say, but like I want to watch like a easy one for them. And like you said in the beginning, every time it's like literally layers on layers of shit. And it's different kinds of shit. Like one time it was, people's house. The other time it was like, I don't know, it looked like sheets of metal. Like literally just like sheet, like, and there was like a dead rat in there. And like
dead rat.
There's dead rats everywhere. Like
think about snake heaven. Like a snake could be anywhere in like 100 feet. Like it's that every time. Cause like, yeah, a snake would be anywhere and you got to lift all these things and either by hand somehow or by a hook, and it's just
and they're like flipping tires one time, like all this stuff. I'm like,
but it's like and they said on Reptile and Chill, it's like, yeah, most of their calls are not for venomous snakes, but that's what makes the show because for obvious reasons. So it's not like it's like that all the time, and like, yeah, it's scary, man. Some of them are just too close. This one, she let it out of the bag and it went pretty much the opposite direction they were expecting. And dude, this cobra just slithered over her
close
foot.
To her foot.
Just slithered
and they were releasing
it. It was scary.
It was so close. But like it's good they release it back into the wild.
Yeah, they have like a certain amount of nature preserves that they go and release all the animals on.
And it's nice because we also get to like learn a little bit more about South Africa, and all that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Brandon said, "Did they show him wrangling a dangerous house snake?"
No, there's no house snakes. I don't think that would make the cut. Unfortunately, yeah, that's what I would like to see. But
well, clearly there's 4 other seasons we're never gonna get to watch because only season 5 is up on the I don't even know what app we were watching
like
on.
Nat Geo app.
No, I think it's like FX, Discovery, and like Nat Geo are all owned by the same people. And I think we were on the FX app, but it was showing that stuff.
But I think it'd be cool if people just supported stuff like that more so than criticize it. You can pick it apart for sure and criticize everything, but
it's doing more good
than
harm, I think.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other things that are getting more views that are doing more harm than good.
Right.
So.
But don't get into this to get famous.
Only there'll be like one person who gets that, but that will be the joke of the fucking century.
Just check Twitter, guys.
Now I feel like we need to tell the chat. That will be like their secret.
No, if you want to know, message us. But if you know, tell us that you know.
You know.
If you know, you know. Because that just was like my pissed off moment of the day. But back to the original purpose of this episode was the show. Do we have any other things to say about? I do.
Okay.
God, that was such an ADD
Good thing asking yourself.
I literally just answered my question in the middle.
Do I have anything else to say about this?
God, sometimes I really do think I'm ADD, but not as bad as you.
Thank you for that distinction. I mean, I'm not denying. If anyone who has snakes, I would be hard pressed to find someone who's not at least like a little bit. At least people who get
ADDism is connected to
not
having
directly.
Snakes. No,
but I feel like we're all weirdly obsessed and also like
that sounds more OCD than ADD.
Nah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Go on. How many people out there have ADD and like snakes?
Survey.
Let's do a poll. Why do we keep doing that voice? I need to stop.
We should be sponsored by Adderall or something.
With the amount that our podcast is ADD, like it would make sense. We don't follow a timeline. Buy Adderall.
That's like when you talk to guests, we're like, hey man, like we don't really do a outline
interview or outline.
We just kind of talk about stuff. You know, that only works for a certain type of person.
Doesn't work for us. Like, cool. Who wants to message Adderall for us? Or what's the other one? I can't think.
No, you're thinking of Vicodin, but that's a painkiller. You fucking psycho.
What's the other one? Not Adderall. There's another one.
Vyvanse.
There, I knew the V.
Thank you.
Okay, so my ADD moment. I was thinking of other displays that were different, and there was a display that we saw at the show, this oak show, the time we just went to look at it, and that I thought was really cool. And they were there again for this recent one that we vended, and I didn't like it as much. It was, the one that was almost like, it was still acrylic, but instead of being, a level and then a level, like a 3-tiered one, it was almost completely vertical. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that? Yeah. And I liked it at first, but the more I looked at it, I'm like, that looks really awkward for the animals.
It was very inconvenient, I think, for everyone. But
and like they had leopard geckos in there. I'm like, and literally all I can see is his belly, because he's like, it's like, imagine being pressed between 2 sheets of plastic, or acrylic.
This is so hard for someone who's listening to get a vision of this, because like I know, because I saw it, but from you saying it's pressed between 2 pieces of glass does not make any sense.
Does not. Okay, well, think about like a skyscraper in the windows. I mean, it was just like a 3 by probably 4 down squares, and it was completely vertical, and like on one way.
So instead of like the animals being on the floor of an acrylic design, it's like they're on the side, like because it's faced up, if that makes any sense.
Dang it. I wish we had a picture. Yeah. I have no idea who the people are.
No, but it was cool because it's different.
Right. I commend them for being different, but then the more I'm like, oh, your snake looks really, or your animal looks real awkward in there. Because they weren't very deep. The boxes or whatever weren't very deep. So it's not that like the snake could be like flat on earth. They had all the
flat on earth.
They couldn't be horizontal. They like all had to be vertical, basically.
Yeah.
And so it was just awkward. Dang, I gotta get a picture.
Yeah. Ours, like you make the coffee filter like a little hammock, so they weren't like pressing up against it. It wasn't on too sharp of an angle. They were just chilling. And I'm surprised how many snakes just chilled there instead of. I thought they were all going to be moving around the whole time.
I agree. Most of them stayed very still.
It's like, I guess my snakes never get below 80 degrees, so they're like, "What is going on? Conserve."
And they were only one of them had an excrement.
Had excrements.
Had excrements.
Yeah, but we didn't have coffee filters, so we didn't get to change it. But I mean, if you're ever vending a show, I mean, anyone who has vended a show knows that snakes will go to the bathroom, and you got to change that out. If you don't do that, then
you're scum.
Yeah, bum. You're a bum. That's pretty much it, I think. I feel like I was the one who wasn't going to go 2 hours, and you're the one who went 2 hours.
I know.
Because dude, there's so much to talk about.
I had a lot more to say than I realized.
We thought that there was nothing to say about it, but there's so much.
Well, I knew there was stuff, but I didn't want it to sound like negative Nancy the whole time. But I mean, at least from my end, I feel like we only had our little spiel about negative.
Only the people who needed it got it.
Can't talk. Negativity at the show. I felt like we were positive and just explaining, our story and the thoughts we had and things we want to do different next time.
And I think that that's good for other, like, if we get to take our experience, which seems very simple and obvious, but if you trust people and think people are good, then like, I think that's good to at least watch out for and know that people are like that. Because I just assume, because we're in this weird echo chamber of people that we have on the show, people that we talk to in the chat, people in the reptile community are always very positive to us, and we try to be positive to them, and like vice versa. And it doesn't seem like there's scums out there, because the scums out there are like only a toe into the reptile community. Let's be honest. Like, they're not the people who are doing things. They're not people who have, I mean, there are some, but have YouTube channels, who have podcasts, who are watching us live for 2 hours
on a Friday night,
talking about nothing on a Friday night. Those aren't the people who are going to do stuff like that. So we're in our own little bubble, and I'm glad that we are. Sorry, I'm laughing because someone just in the chat said, "Where?" All right, you can message us for that one too. But
wait, but my last point.
Oh, you're still going.
Oh, okay. So to end it, so during the show, they were coming around giving sheets for sign up for the February. I cannot say any words, and I definitely can't say that word. I've always struggled with that word. February and librarian or library are always hard words.
Wow.
No, library is not hard. Brewery, wow. That's my word. Brewery is a real hard word to say.
Wow, brewery.
I cannot say brewery, and I cannot say February. But they came around giving sheets for the F second show. Feb second
February?
show.
February? Louisianans aren't good at pronunciating. That's just
First of all, we're Louisianians. You didn't pronunciate our name right.
Well, that sounds stupid.
But they were coming around giving papers for the Feb 2nd show.
Keeping paper.
And at the time, both of us were like, we don't need to sign up for the show. Like, we won't have snakes by then. Like, why are we doing that? But someone who had the knowledge did not give the knowledge to me that we couldn't ship during December / early January. I wasn't even thinking that. Number one was just ignoring the fact that we live in the north and it's cold. Number two, didn't realize that Ship Your Reptiles does not give a
they don't ensure
live arrival in December,
or even around Thanksgiving,
or even right. Which, when you think about it, I'm like, that makes so much sense. I just didn't know. So when they came around with the sheet, I'm like, no, we're gonna sell most of these snakes by
February 2nd. You kidding me?
Right? Like, that's so far away. We're gonna send most of these. But then when you think about it, we're pretty much done shipping now till like January 15th.
And what sucks is that there's gonna be a lot of people hitting us up. Hey, I'm trying to get a corn snake for my kid for Christmas, all this stuff. And you're like,
oh, can you drive to Philly?
Yeah. And you know that they're not waiting for you, right? They're getting that kid a corn snake for Christmas. It doesn't matter where it comes from.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess you just help them out for someone who's local, and that's pretty much it.
But basically, if you ever been to a show in late October, was it October? Wow, it was November. In early November, and you think, oh, I'm gonna have so many. No, sign up for that Feb show.
Because I also we need to, because for me, at least in the beginning, I was like, shows aren't going to be that worth it. I can sell most of them online, which I've done thus far. But if we were doing shows this whole time, I just thought shows were going to be a pain in the ass, but it was a lot of fun. And I like going to shows and just walking around and seeing everything, which I still try to do, which is why you're caught behind a table without me.
Side note, so many people kept coming up to me being like, do you know who has this? Like, where can I find this? I'm like, MFer, I'm vending. I'm not walking. Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't seen shit,
like,
man.
I haven't left my table. I don't know who has your specific random ass snake you're trying to find. Like, why are you asking me where this snake is? Get the F.
You F that guy right in the A. I swear to God, I'm going to put my fist right up his A right now. But there's yeah, you don't get to walk around. If you wanted to make videos and YouTube like a proper YouTuber, in quotations, then that's not, you're not going to be able to do so. But I had so much fun talking to everyone and meeting everyone. There's so many people who said that they listened to the podcast, which is just
there. Like, that was a positive.
You think that those are just numbers that like you're never going to know of, But
it was so nice. We met Carol. I feel terrible because we met other people whose names I don't remember.
If we forget your name, I'll feel bad.
I remember Carol, but I don't remember anyone else's name. That's terrible. But we met other people. There's 2 or 3 guys. There you go.
That doesn't mean that we don't.
We still appreciate you. Yeah. I just can't.
And even we had people buy snakes from us who, NJ Garter guy, who I actually met on the last show. So
wow, double.
Wow, double. But I mean, you like don't know these people, and then he bought a corn snake, and
we started following him on Facebook and Instagram. I'm like, oh, you have cool stuff.
Yeah, and he has badass garter snakes, and you're like, oh wait. Like, yeah, I didn't know you existed until you bought a snake from me. That usually, like, how does that happen? But I'm glad that because most of the times you're selling snakes to first-time pet owners, whatever. But this guy's like an actual guy, and I'm like, that's cool.
Be a guy, an actual snake guy. Person.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, you have cool stuff too. Maybe in the future, when I produce this, you produce that. And we do things.
Speaking of tradesies.
Oh, snap.
Someone, unbeknownst to me, I don't know if that's how you say the word.
Yeah, unbeknownst.
Is it nonst? Wow, I'm really messing up the word. Unbeknownst.
Like known. Okay.
Yeah. To me, someone made a trade recently, which you guys know, in this relationship, there's one person who does things without telling the other. This time, we did not catch my reaction on camera, which is probably a good thing, except we're in public, so it wasn't that bad. He was smart to tell me
if you have snakes, you've never, you've lied at least a dozen times. Let's be honest.
It's another question we have for people. Who has ADD and who has lied to their significant other about snakes? Because he's on, time number 4.
Whether it's a little white lie and whether it's significant, you told her it was $100 less than it was, or you told her, oh, this is another ball python. It was an Angolan python. She doesn't know the difference. Whatever. You've done it all.
Yeah. Well, it started out last week. He was like, I knew we had one snake to ship out. And he was like, oh, no, I'm shipping out another one to this guy. And it's a guy he'd been talking to for a while. Stop it. He was like, I'm shipping out this to this guy. I was like, oh, really? I knew that guy, listened to our podcast and you guys talked a lot, but I didn't know that guy bought one. He was like, oh yeah, he bought one of the da-da-da-da-das. I'm like, oh, okay. You didn't tell me he bought it. Cool. Well, the reason he didn't tell me the guy bought it is because he didn't. And then last night after we dropped the snakes off, not before, after he ships them out, he goes, well, I should be receiving a shipment tomorrow because we traded.
Well, let it be known, guys. You got to do things. You got to make decisions, ask for forgiveness, not permission.
He's still on that train, and that train is going to end him in a place he doesn't like soon. Because, no, I don't play the ask for forgiveness. It
ends with more
snakes. Ask for permit. Ew, I just spit so far. That was gross. You ask for permission.
No one would have noticed unless you said something.
Because I'm ADD and a little tipsy. You ask for permission because your brain thinking with snakes is so one-sided sometimes. And
more snakes.
It's weird. Sometimes I'm so one-sided and I don't think about the future project, but also with you, you're so into oh my God, I want this. And not
do I say like that?
Yeah, you do. Oh. When you're up at night in the snake room by yourself, you're just sitting there clicking your fingers. I want this. And you don't
film you talking in your sleep. All right. You said some weirder shit than that. All right. She wakes up. She'll stand up
stop. This is not on topic.
You are not on topic.
Whatever. He got into some tradesies. And that is what the story posts we put on Instagram is earlier. Wow. So get your guesses in for what snake.
Get your guesses in.
What's wrong with that?
No, yeah, sure.
For what snake you think Joe got. And in the post I said we got. I shouldn't have put we got. I should have.
Yeah, how dare you take ownership of my snake that I made a decision to get?
I don't want it.
Yeah, but how cool are those snakes? Well, you don't even know what they are, so the fact that someone's gonna try to guess it is just silly because honestly, they're neat though.
Okay. Well, we will not tell you till a video that will come out in the near future. So if you're listening or watching right now, make your guesses on Instagram, but watch the video on YouTube to find out what snakes he secretly traded.
What snakes he secretly traded? You get nothing if you guess correctly.
And they got here though, 25 hours late.
Woo. They were a little chilly.
Little late, you know,
a little chilly.
But they got here. Thank you, Philly, for your.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Mike.
Shitstorm. No, I didn't say his name.
Oh,
that was weird.
Damn, that's bad. So we're gonna put his information too because
Brandon said, "Do you guess if you already know?" No, Brandon, you don't win anything.
Oh yeah, we did. Brandon's the one person we told. We tell him too much, don't we?
Stuff.
Yeah, we do. we don't tell anyone anything, and it's like especially the guests. Sometimes we'll slip with the guests with Brandon. Yeah.
I know. I don't know.
Let's not set precedents on that.
Clearly, Brandon's our favorite.
Oh, someone hit me up, and he asked me what my special was after last week on Facebook.
What?
He's like, no, talking about the other guy. No, because we were talking about the guy who said, "What's your lowest price?"
Right. Someone did ask if we were doing Black Friday deals, and sorry guys, that's not happening. I don't know what you're talking about right now.
No, yeah, someone was just fucking with it. He'll get it. He's listening. Maybe. Or if he's not, then this is just out to one person and everyone else in the dust. I don't know.
Oh, they were just joking. Yes. Because we already brought this up on Monday. I forgot we brought it up on Monday.
So when you say that you don't like something, people will usually come back and be smartasses and they'll get to you.
Okay.
You know what? No. What I'm saying is the more we complain about shit that we don't want,
will give us
people will fuck with us.
That's fine. But if they're our friends, I don't care.
Well, that's why it's funny. It's funny.
So is our friend? Can you just say who it is?
Oh, no. I don't. I'm sorry. We can look on Facebook what his name is, but I don't remember.
So he must not be our friend if you don't remember.
Not our personal friend, but someone who listens to the podcast is our friend, isn't it? We're gonna have to edit out the end of this podcast now.
This can't go on SoundCloud. This is a mess. This is why we are not allowed to do podcasts by ourselves because we get too.
I feel like you're the problem now.
No, it is. This was me today. I only had 2 glasses of wine, but I'm so silly right now. But this is why we can't do our podcast just us.
I just had to explain like that too much, but. I don't know what we're talking about.
Let's do that.
Well, dude, did we go over 2 hours now?
No, I don't think so. We're at 150. Do the outro.
150.
Do the outro.
So thank you guys for listening.
Please don't whisper the outro.
No. Port City Pythons. PortCityPythons.com. Port City Pythons on Instagram. Hey guys. We're like so close to 10,000. I know you want me to say it though.
No, I don't. I didn't want to be charity. That makes it sound like a charity case.
Oh, we're really close to 10,000. If you could follow us on Instagram, that would be neat. What are you seeing? Shit?
No, sorry. I did stop. You don't want to bring it. You always tell me to not notice. Your knuckles are just really red right now, and it was freaking me out. What happened to your knuckles?
White people, they turn red when I don't know. I've been holding on to this.
I mean, it looks like you punched someone with that knuckle. Sorry for people in the downloads. You clearly can't see, but like
my hands look weird now. I don't
know. But look at yourself.
Oh my god, you gotta. Oh my god,
I wasn't gonna bring it up. You said it. I was just looking at you weird, but I wasn't gonna. No, say
but it's a face that you cannot ignore. You're like I thought a snake was out behind there because it looked like you were looking towards the snake rack. And I was like, fuck. You look like how they would look if the fucking mamba was in the scrap of wood.
No, I'd be jumping out of this room, you know that.
I was like, there must be something serious going on right now. But yeah, you think my knuckles red. Oh my God. I swear that we didn't do any drugs besides alcohol for this podcast. And Brandon said, do a feeding video with the olive python blindfolded. I'll do you one better. I'll put it in my teeth and I will do it then. Dude, that thing's crazy if you've ever fed an olive python. I'm trying to keep it together because Melissa is just dying laughing. I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone, but she's just non-coherent at this point. Theportcitypythons.com. Wow, we said that already, huh? There's animals available. Not really for much longer because, as we said, the shipping windows closing. Is that a good word for it? And then there's shirts available. Shirts go to support this podcast. We'd probably do the podcast for free. Let's be honest, right? At this point, it's just what we do. But I'd love it if you support us doing it. That'd be neat. Otherwise, it's pretty much all we got for you. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Reminder, the next podcast will be Tuesday.
It's going to be hot.
Not Monday.
7 p.m. live on YouTube.
7 p.m.
YouTube.com/.
I mean, if we're giving out hints, last podcast was a hint to this next one. If you listen,
it's going to be sweet as a berry.
Stop it.
So stupid.
And that was a weird expression.
Also really weird.
That was weird.
And no, it's not Nick Mutton, you fucking
Sorry,
people.
Brandon.
Sorry.
No, it's not people.
No,
it's Brandon. We got to get Nick Mutton. Okay, Brandon, you are adding to our outro issues. Please stop talking.
We mentioned we have, is it ADD or ADHD? We're a little hyper. ADHD for tonight.
Okay, just for tonight.
I'm not a doctor, though.
Riley, where you at? We need that Cali love.
Oh my God. Okay, bye. Have a great night. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe.